having lots of segments and potentially blood.
Yep.
Okay.
That's gonna happen. Yeah. It's Friday, June 10th, 2016, and you're listening to On the Heels Wrestling Podcast. I'm Brittany.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Ray.
We are three co-workers who enjoy pro wrestling, and this podcast gives us a space to shoot on all the aspects of our favorite pastime without the confused looks we get from the rest of the office.
This podcast is all about giving you consistent, bite-sized commentary on the world of wrestling, focused primarily on WWE's main roster, NXT, though we'll occasionally hit up the indies and international scene.
Every week, we'll either recap the previous week's Raw, NXT, pay-per-view, takeover, whatever, or we'll hold a roundtable discussion on a particular topic. This week, we're going to hold our first ever roundtable brand split fantasy draft!
I feel like it's more just going to be an argument.
Yeah, so we're holding our first
That's a better way to describe
it.
Argument!
So we're literally doing this on the fly. Like, we've not really, had any real big discussions.
Ray literally just printed out a name of everybody on the roster and a lot of people who I forgot were on the roster, and we're just going to talk about it.
Yeah.
And Ray's actually in studio getting up and sitting down and writing things on a whiteboard, so if you hear any crashing...
Yeah, that's
what happened. Ray has probably died.
Yeah. So a couple things before we start this big experiment. So, first of all...
What are the rules?
Some of the rules? So, first of all, when we start picking... we start looking at different names, it has to be a two-thirds majority vote. So if me and
that other guy,
that one guy over there,
Kyle.
Is that
Sadly,
his name?
that's how everyone sees it. Too.
If me and Kyle,
my personal hype man.
Thanks. That makes me feel better.
Yeah. He is the king of Segway style.
Oh shit!
All right, I'm redeemed.
Yeah. So if me and Kyle outvote Brittany on something, then that's exactly what we're just gonna go roll with that.
It sounds weird. I don't think I've ever voted against you.
Yeah, this is just Ray getting outvoted the entire time.
Pretty much. This is pretty much what's gonna happen.
I've rigged this.
Yeah.
But then we've proven that Ray usually agrees with you.
Ray ends up being right in the long term, so I kind of want to see where Ray goes with this.
So that's part of it. Outside of that, not applicable to this draft is any alumni. Mm-hmm. So that includes The Rock, Triple H, Taker, and Brock.
CM Punk would be so happy.
Oh my God.
Well, I'd say more. You mean more like part-timers too? Like Brock's
part-timers.
Not an alumni, but
yeah, he's part-time. So somebody that's really not going to be in week in and week out.
Yeah.
We have to decide about tag teams, and we also have to decide about where do the divisions and the titles themselves live.
Well, before all of that, let's start off with the first one.
Yeah. Which
McMahon goes where?
Oh, that's right.
Shane's going to SmackDown.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I agree with that.
All right, we're off to a good start.
Woo! All right.
Unanimous.
Yeah, I mean, for the reasons why is just, they have to make SmackDown work this time. I feel like they're going to, if you keep saying over-index on SmackDown being good, and Shane's got the hype and he's liked, and it's super easy.
He opens the show purely just because it's like, what is Shane going to do? And he doesn't actually do anything exciting other than a little shuffle and some sweet kicks.
Shuffle.
Yeah, people cheer for him.
Then Stephanie gets booed.
Yeah.
But that's literally Shane's role right now. Putting him on SmackDown is a huge
our first
draw.
entries here is Shane on SmackDown.
Woo!
Shane-O Smack. Shane-O Smack.
I'm not going to support that.
What? Come on.
And then Steph on Raw.
All right, cool.
Because she likes saying Monday Night Raw.
She channels her dad pretty well.
She does.
Yeah.
She does. There's a little
It's like second
evil.
nature.
Oh.
That's the tag teams.
Okay, so we have to decide right now, do we want to split up tag teams? I vote no.
Well, want to versus will they, right?
Well, this is the other thing to bring up. For the sake of this draft,
There's so many possibilities.
there's so many possibilities of what they will do. This is all about what if the three of us were writers right now and we had to come up with a decision for next Monday night, what would we do? So
I think you don't break them up.
I don't think you can. I think too many of the tag teams are so tied together now.
Yep.
The Vaudevillains. Aiden English does not make sense without Simon Gotch.
Yeah.
Yep.
The New Day is really the only group that you could split up because they've been apart before they were together. Kofi's been with the company
but then
like a decade
you're
now.
voluntarily killing merch.
But you're killing the best thing about your show right now.
Yeah.
You can't split up the Usos because one Uso on each show doesn't make any sense. You can't split up the Ascension. Is that one guy even back yet?
I don't
is
even
the Ascension
know.
still a thing?
I don't know.
The point is, they've spent a lot of time making the tag team division good again.
Yes.
With actual unique teams teams, not just like rammed together singles wrestlers.
Yes.
That just keep them together.
Yeah.
So Ray, your vote is also.
Yeah. So it's unanimous. Tag teams cannot be split.
Hooray!
Okay. So where do titles and divisions live? So we're gonna start with titles, and then we'll work our way down from there. So World Heavyweight title. This is the big question, and this is the big question on the internet as well.
Yeah.
Will the World Heavyweight title be defended on both shows, or will there be again a second World Heavyweight title?
I think it will be defended on both.
Okay.
I think it would actually be really interesting if you had the main, the person who holds the belt at any time competing on potentially both shows.
Yep.
Because then all of a sudden it makes one roster more important than the other.
Yep.
Because you could only actually win the belt if you're competing on that brand.
So I agree that I think it will be on both shows. What I think maybe they'll do is some kind of like number one contendership is on the show that doesn't have the title currently. Something like that. Or like that guy's like originating roster, right? Because it's going to come from somewhere. And then whether that guy gets promoted to sort of be on both shows or not, like either way, I think it'll kind of cross both. I think that's kind of better.
The only problem with that scenario I see is if you have the champion wrestling on both shows, the week of a pay-per-view, that's 3 nights in a row.
Right.
And that's injury written all over it.
Right.
So you'd eventually have, like, whoever holds the belt being a guy that does promos on one show and then fights on another.
Yeah.
Promo, like, and swap it the next week, whatever.
Yeah, so the way I see it is I also vote for World Heavyweight title shared on both.
Yeah.
The title is exclusively defended on pay-per-views. The champion can fight in any show. They can promo on any show.
I don't think the exclusive to pay-per-view thing matters.
To me, it does because I think.
I don't care about you.
But you should. This is what argument mania.
I hate you, Ray.
But this is where I think it goes back to kind of what Paul Heyman was saying, which was if something is not featured all the time, it makes it special. And if you look at boxing, UFC, like those titles aren't defended like week in and week out. They're like there's long, huge breaths in between.
There are still some idiots who pay $60 for a pay-per-view, and there's got to be a reason why.
Yep. So, to me, I think that you fill the gaps as far as your main event card with those other two titles.
In that vein, then, I think the U.S. title will stay on Raw.
Okay.
And Intercontinental will go to SmackDown.
I agree.
Damn it! I was gonna go the other way. So, all right. First of all, let's go.
Well, all right. I mean, basically, we're gonna agree that they're splitting those.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
we're splitting those titles. But first off, the first decision we're making is World Heavyweight title is shared on both platforms, no matter how they.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, putting that on the board.
All right. Title on both.
Title on both. Intercontinental and U.S. are split up.
Yeah.
I think that'll be good because the U.S. needs like more focus.
I see SmackDown.
I see SmackDown.
And U.S. Raw.
U.S. Okay. Cool.
So here's where it gets super interesting because it's tough because you could border on speculation, right?
Right.
Either they will cannibalize NXT as a possibility, or they'll create some new titles, right?
Right.
And I could see them like, I really want that women's tag division. It's just how it goes.
That's an easy way to do it. You put women's tag on one, you put men's tag on the other.
Yeah.
I would think that I'm gonna guess if we're putting the world title on both, women's title has to be on both.
I'm down with that.
Because they keep going with the whole equality thing.
Yeah.
Like you can't have the women's just specifically on one. Like nobody puts Charlotte in the corner.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be really good, and also they do need to deepen the women's roster a little bit more to support a second title of some sort. They're getting there. It's definitely crowded for one title, right?
Yes.
But with a brand split that rotates title like the world champion one, it could probably work for a little longer.
It could work
while they backfill it.
Well, and you get more women on TV and more storylines.
Yeah.
The way on both?
The only yeah.
So 3 out of 3 on that one.
3 out of 3 on this one. The only way this works
This is going better than I expected.
Yeah. The only way
Titles are
this
easy.
works though is because the NXT getting every single getting majority of those NXT women's division into that brand split is the only way this works. Because if it was just the WWE women's roster, I'd be like, no, you have to keep it to one because that's too thin of a roster on both shows.
And they could really go in any direction with that.
Yep. Tag.
All right. So here's what I think. I'm not convinced. It's just too early to tell with NXT. We've heard hints, like we saw the tweet, right? We talked about last episode. Like, we don't know exactly what's going on with NXT.
No.
But I think a tag title on both could happen. And there's a lot of NXT
The
tag
SmackDown
talent.
Tag Team Champions and the Raw Tag Team Champions.
I think that could
You
happen.
can just outright retire the current belts, and then New Day goes down as like the current tag team.
So we have two tag team. Mind you, that fixes a lot of their mid card stuff. So
Yeah.
It does.
So
it actually does.
So this was I did not expect this to happen.
Or you keep a tag belt in one, and then you have to make a new individual person belt.
Or you basically have to make almost new division.
Yeah.
So I think are we voting for 2 tag team titles?
I'm down.
That's simplest.
Okay, we're doing for 2 tag team titles.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna call it I'm gonna just call it tag team 1 and tag team 2
Yeah, that
titles.
works.
Whatever.
Yeah.
The red tag team and the blue tag team.
Okay. All right. So we've got that. That kind of went better than expected. I feel like we can leave the titles sort of there and move on to the wrestlers now.
Yes.
And our open question mark. We have all the NXT titles written here and the divisions, but basically
Who knows what happens?
we've more or less split up the women's and
The tag.
and the tag like in a way that makes sense. Basically, everyone's split evenly, more or less. It's just there's a couple. There's one sort of individual sub champion belt in each, and then the men's and women's championship. Man, it'd be great if they just called them that. Split across both, and then a tag on each. I think that takes care of business.
The titles are very equal, and so are the divisions. So that's.
I want to talk about wrestlers.
Okay,
Yes,
let's talk about wrestlers.
All right. Is there a world where Cena is not on SmackDown?
Yeah.
I think there
Yes.
is, but I am convinced that he's going to SmackDown. If I was wrong, I'd be. It's really hard to say, right?
Okay.
Like, you don't know which way they're going to go, but I'm going to say they're going to give SmackDown a push, Cena on SmackDown.
So I'm going to disagree, even though I'm about to lose. What's
up?
So here's my reasoning, because I see as like SmackDown is going to be really the show that really showcases the new era, and Raw is probably going to be the more casual show. That's in my mind.
I agree with that line of thinking, but they're never consistent with going all in on new stuff.
It's true.
Parents are the ones that buy the tickets. Parents are the one that buy the merch. You have to have someone who's really a huge draw for merch on each roster.
Okay.
Which is why I think Cena's going to be on SmackDown. You're going to have everybody else on SmackDown too, but Cena sells the most merch.
Okay, putting Cena on the board for SmackDown.
SmackDown!
Which, it's tough, because you could either speculate on what we're seeing currently, which will factor into the draft, obviously.
Yeah.
But also, like, I'm sure there will be some long-termy kind of things in there, and that's where it gets a little interesting. But I think because he's been gone so long, and he is already established, I feel like Rollins goes to Raw.
Rollins to Raw. Ooh, that's hard. I mean, I love me some Rollins, and I'm gonna go Rollins on Raw.
Rollins on Raw makes sense because definitely Reigns is staying on Raw.
Yeah, probably.
I mean,
okay, yeah, I can
hands
agree with
down,
that.
Raw is still the flagship show.
I also
It's Monday night. It's had the same time slot. It's the longest running
I think-
televised cable news, whatever the fuck my
cable
local
news.
says.
I think they're good. But I will say that. So I
Have you
agree.
noticed, though,
Rollins
they started
and
calling SmackDown the second longest?
Yes,
Yeah.
they have.
Rollins and Reigns are gonna go Raw.
Mm-hmm.
Ambrose, I'm saying SmackDown.
I agree with that.
agree.
I
All right,
agree.
cool. Let's
Okay,
just
we're
write them
just
all
putting
up.
it on
'cause
the-
that
Write
was
them all
bad.
up. Write them all up.
So there's that, but the one thing that's interesting, speaking of Rollins being one of the best cash in briefcase persons ever,
Yes.
is, we're going to have a Money in the Bank winner
Yes.
at some point, and unless, something happens where that person wins and cashes in that night, like, that will be looming, and how does that work? Can some guy just show up on the other brand and cash in? Right?
That's gonna be really confusing.
Yeah, I mean, because
I don't know. That's a really good idea.
be a crazy ass ace in a hole, especially if Ambrose wins, who's already crazy, and he's like not on
crazy
his
guy.
own show.
Yeah.
So crazy.
I don't know.
Okay, so
Wow, we went through the top 4.
AJ
real fast.
Styles.
AJ Styles, SmackDown, I think, because the feud's there already with
Yep.
Cena.
Yep.
And
He's new era.
yeah, he's new era.
Okay. Brittany.
I wrote down SmackDown before we started talking about it, so
Okay.
I wanted to see if there was a way that I would change my mind, but no. I
Yeah,
just
3 out of 3. I'm putting AJ on SmackDown.
Arguably 5 out of 5. these are 5 wrestlers we've all agreed on.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
that's true.
saying
3 out of 3. Oh yeah, yeah.
3 out of
okay.
3 as far
Out
as
of
us.
All right.
Okay.
We're gonna get dumber arguments about like the mid card.
Yeah, we are.
We are.
Yeah.
We are.
Del Rio. Ooh, that one's tough.
SmackDown.
Ooh.
I think SmackDown, because as we keep saying, like, oh, the new era on SmackDown. SmackDown cannot be better than Raw. We're trying to have them be equal.
So you're coming at it like Del Rio sucks. So
Del
he's on
Rio is
SmackDown.
not a draw. Like, maybe...
Correct. I agree with that.
Maybe not, like, for the American market. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
there's a whole other market that he's really capturing that I'm not even factoring in.
Yep.
But I just don't see him... Like, he's comfortably mid-card, but I can't see him staying on Raw and then putting all of the good people on SmackDown, because otherwise no one watches Raw anymore.
Yeah.
Well, it's tough. Will they even have some kind of thing where there's like a redraft like more frequently, or like a transfer thing? Because the other
Before
part,
they did the draft every year.
Yeah, they did yearly.
So like that
Didn't happen
factors in
after
too, right?
WrestleMania.
Because I do think that they can make SmackDown better for a little period of time before people would like bail and get pissed or whatever.
Yeah.
Because again, they are like the only show in town, right?
Yeah, I think they'll put. I think I would put Del Rio on Raw, just in the fact of the matches that we will potentially make, because it's a much thinner roster. It may make Del Rio give a shit again.
That's true. That's true.
I
We
think
did talk about that.
If you put him on SmackDown, he is going to be taking nothing but losses.
He's buried.
He's
So
gonna get buried.
I have to decide this one then, huh? I'm the deciding vote.
Kyle is
It's
the
exciting.
deciding
Kyle is
vote.
the deciding
Well,
vote.
so looking ahead to like the next 8 or 9 people, it's basically, is SmackDown going to look a lot like NXT or not, right?
Yep.
And it's tough to say because
USA
your
wins
argument.
either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the network.
Okay, I was like, yeah, that's a
I
weird
mean,
angle.
the nation does too. We did talk about Memorial Day recently.
I'm gonna say SmackDown to put people over.
God damn it, Kyle! I thought you were my boy.
I am, but also
We talked about this.
All right,
I'm my
Del
own
Rio.
person. Apollo Crews, I think, would be one of those few
That stays behind on Raw.
that stays behind. I mean, like you said, Ross. Well, that's the thing. Like, we each have our different philosophies. I think like Raw is gonna take a slight backseat for just a little while and then catch back up. And I think Apollo Crews can benefit from that and stay on Raw. And SmackDown, I think, is gonna like take Zayn and Owens with it, like to foreshadow ahead. So.
I think he makes more sense on SmackDown. Personally.
Apollo?
Yeah.
I think he's staying on Raw.
Okay.
I think there's enough of a strong presence on Raw. He needs someone to help bring him up.
Yeah.
He's an excellent wrestler. He's got, like, top rope capabilities. He's got strength. He has the look.
Yeah.
The problem is he doesn't have a lot of good mic time.
Yeah. I just kind of wanted him against Cena.
Yeah, well, it could still happen depending on how things shake out,
yeah,
right?
as far as
Honestly, like, they could really, like mess things up in pay-per-views as far as, like, giving number one contender shots and saying, like, if you win this match, you get to pick which roster you're on kind of a thing. Like, there's a lot of possibilities that potentially open up.
Okay, so Apollo on Raw.
Okay, Apollo and Raw. Baron Corbin, the third Andre the Giant Battle Royal winner.
I put him on Raw.
I did too.
Yeah.
Okay, that was easy.
I think it's because he's new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they don't want to bring him up and then immediately move him to SmackDown. I mean, you can make the same argument for Apollo, right?
I kind of, basically, I'm viewing them using Raw as a mechanism to put people over.
Absolutely.
And SmackDown as the good hardcore show, which is kind of like Ray was saying too.
Yep.
Though it's interesting because then some people will be like, well, you just said they're never going to let Raw be better than SmackDown. But like I said, I think it's just temporary. Like, things will shake out. The title will help balance everything out. But I do think initially they're going to want to get some ROI on SmackDown being live and being all that stuff. So
Cesaro.
Cesaro on SmackDown.
I think Cesaro will be on Raw.
Why?
Because for the same reasons that Apollo and Corbin will get their chance, I think like Cesaro, like, unfortunately might be used to put them over and won't be
I wouldn't
given a
say
chance to win.
unfortunately. Like, if you're used to put other wrestlers over, it's because the company has a lot of faith
Yeah,
in
but
you.
I also feel like he hasn't been given as much overness as
I think
he deserves.
I think
right?
he'll have better matches on SmackDown, which will grant him more opportunity.
I'm also falling into that trap of we've already like slotted 8 people, and I'm like thinking that they're gonna balance it, and I guess Cesaro's the first person I'm like who's falling victim to that.
Yeah. I don't know. Raw's got a lot of tall people.
Yeah, it's just tough because
I'm like looking at the
Who's
list.
who's he gonna swing?
Kalisto? Like,
Remember,
all right, so
he's
you said SmackDown.
I said SmackDown.
I am the deciding vote.
Yeah.
You're the deciding.
I had him written down for Raw.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, I'm getting outvoted here.
All right,
All right.
it's all good though.
All right.
Most
it's all
likely
good.
said that would happen.
All right,
Jericho.
the man who's the best in the world at what he does, Chris Jericho. You idiot. Where does he go?
I'm gonna throw a curveball question. Is Jericho sticking around?
He could very well become a
I'm gonna say
part-timer.
for the rest of the year, and then he's done.
Okay.
All right, let's just go forward, assuming he sticks around.
Okay.
Though I would not be surprised if he didn't.
Yeah.
I
I mean, he's a big name, and he needs to kind of be in like a main event.
I feel like he was brought in to help with the injury rash.
The low ratings,
So-
the injury rash, like going into WrestleMania, and then
Yeah.
he just stuck around because
And
he's Jericho, and he's
yeah,
awesome.
He's done a
Yeah.
great job. So, with that said,
SmackDown.
sure, yeah, I have a hard time either way, but SmackDown,
SmackDown's got a lot of new blood.
yeah, I guess you got to balance it out.
You gotta balance it out. You gotta have.
Especially
some
since
over.
I'm more or less like I still, even though they've been around for almost a year now, like Zayn, Owens, those guys.
Yeah.
I think they still fall in that new era camp because they keep sort of attaching them to it in a
Owens
way.
debuted last May.
Yeah. And Jericho's here to put you all over.
Yeah.
And I was saying SmackDown.
Yeah. Was that unanimous?
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
Holy shit.
All right,
Ziggler.
the jobber himself, Dolph Ziggler.
Can I just mention how cool it was when he came out and kicked Corbin in the crotch?
Yeah.
As like a callback to the Extreme Rules match? I thought that was great.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Like, that... Ziggler's my boy.
I'm going to say SmackDown for the exact same reasons I said for Jericho.
Because he gets people over.
Yep.
Like, that's basically the role that they've put Ziggler in.
Yep.
I'm going to say Raw for that same reason, because you've got people like Corbin and
Oh, yeah,
Apollo.
I forgot about that. I can go either.
You wrote the list on the wall!
Yeah, I can go either way on this, to be
Raw.
honest.
Raw.
All right, I'll put it on Raw.
Same
Raw.
balance
Yeah,
reasons.
you're right.
I think Raw, like, and it fits under a kind of. It's funny because, like, for individual wrestlers, you kind of get into this thing, but like, I'm invoking your own argument against you here.
Yeah, yeah,
like,
you're
dude,
right.
you said
Yeah.
Raw's going to be kind of the more predictable one.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
Ziggler's
you're
like
absolutely
perfect
right.
for it. Oh, you're kind of right in a way.
Yeah,
It's your idea.
yeah.
No,
so-
just
you're right.
reminding
No,
you.
you're right. No,
Okay.
Hey,
No,
Owens-
you're right.
We're all pretty
Owens.
No, I think you have to look at this one, Owens and Zayn at the same time.
Okay.
Exactly, agree on that one.
Which is why I think they're going to split them up.
Oh, no. I know they are.
There's
I know
got,
they
you
are.
know what? Like, there's got to be some controversial decisions. Right?
There has to be.
Yeah.
And I think partly because the fans will want them to be on the same roster.
Yes.
That because they can be apart for a year and come back, which increases the whole
Oh, yeah. Build it
tension
up
within
for
their storyline,
years.
right? Well, and part of that is like it's tricky because Sami Zayn is injury prone.
Yes.
They're both getting a little bit older in their career.
Yep.
You could put Kevin Owens on either roster and he's going to feud with everybody at one point or another.
All right, I think I know where I'm going with this one. Then.
Where are you going with it?
Owens, SmackDown, Zayn, Raw.
I agree.
Yep.
All right, cool. Damn. But the split, yeah, like I was thinking, man, maybe they keep them together. But I like your plan, the long term
Because
thing.
they've been playing them up together quite a
and
bit.
we know
recently.
that we're not going to get a solo match resolution before then.
No, if
Right?
anything, they're going to save that for WrestleMania or
Yeah.
for SummerSlam next year. They're going to
Yeah.
save it for something.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're getting into
we're getting to
interesting
mid-card.
either injured people or rehashes or
Comfortably
what, right?
mid-card.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Sheamus.
You know what?
Can we throw
okay.
him in the trash?
Yeah, can we? Okay, like let's. How about we come back to these?
Let's talk about women.
Let's go back to. Let's go to the women.
Let's talk about women.
There's still some interesting ones in here, but okay, fine.
Yeah. I want to get to some
some
interesting
good- yeah.
things first.
Charlotte on Raw, Sasha on SmackDown.
Oh yeah.
Well, but we're already talking about the champion rotating.
Well,
so.
you still have to define
But, yeah.
where they land
Yeah.
because like if they lose the title, they gotta go somewhere.
Agreed.
Well, yeah.
Agreed with
Yep.
that breakdown, though. All right,
So Charlotte's on Raw, Sasha's on SmackDown.
Yep.
Are we saying Bailey's going to get moved up?
I think Bailey goes to.
I say Bailey goes to Raw because with Charlotte being such a insanely good heel, you need an insanely good face.
You also already have Cena on SmackDown.
Oh yeah, you need the other
You
Cena.
need the other Cena on the other roster.
Perfect.
Yeah, and that way then it plays off it keeps Sasha and Bailey separated.
I don't even need to vote, I guess.
No,
Oh, yeah,
like just
whoa,
shut
whoa,
up.
whoa,
You don't
whoa.
even get an opinion.
Like what?
Wow, you liked it before, and I was helping you with.
What were your thoughts?
It's funny, but the only thing that helps decide it is that you can't have two Cenas, so sure. Yeah, Bailey goes on Raw.
Okay.
But also, for the reasons you mentioned, Ray, that would be a really cool feud. And I kind of think Sasha Asuka would be cool.
Ooh, so we're saying Asuka moves up and goes on to SmackDown?
I think that would be cool.
I think I know that's what Ray wants without even asking
Oh my
him.
god, I'm so excited.
I think you need a strong. Well, yeah, that's interesting, right? Like we were making fun of some internet article today that was listing, like, categorizing people.
Yeah.
And it said Sasha heel, and we're like,
Yeah.
So have you watched wrestling in the
you-
last
I
few
mean,
months?
she can do it.
She
but,
can do it anything
like,
she
the
wants.
crowd refuses it.
Yeah,
so.
no, she's too over to be heel right now.
All right, so
Do we keep Dana Brooke with Charlotte? I say yes.
I think they probably will. That's going
I
to be
think
like
she
an easy
benefits
mode
from
one. I don't know. Like, I think she doesn't necessarily need that, but it just wouldn't surprise me. Like, this is more like I think they're committed to that for a little bit.
They kind of have to be. They're
So.
not in the realm of let's pick up a storyline and throw it away 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
Like they're committing to storylines for
And in the
multiple
grand scheme of
months.
thing, yeah, for them, like a month is kind of short. for
Yeah, I
them.
think Dana's gonna go to Raw.
Yep.
Dana goes to Raw.
Dana, unanimous.
Unanimous.
I want Paige to go to SmackDown and become relevant again.
I'm down.
Yeah. Good
I'm the
call.
big Paige supporter. I'll have to get a
I
T-shirt.
do not want to vote for Alicia Fox or Naomi or Tamina because I don't want to see any of them on TV.
Okay, we're moving on.
Becky.
Well, Lana goes
Oh, yeah,
where
let's-
Rusev goes, so
Becky,
Yes.
Becky.
Yeah.
Well,
Becky.
Oh
Becky.
God, Becky. Ooh, it's tough because if you have Becky as a heel, it works really well with
I've
Sasha.
never seen Becky as a heel though.
NXT.
Yeah.
She was really?
Yeah, when
it was
she
good.
was
She
sort
was
of-
really good.
when she was friends-ish with Sasha,
You could put her on SmackDown.
pre steampunk pilot
So
days.
Paige works as both. Asuka could work as both.
Yeah.
Sasha definitely works as both. Put Becky on SmackDown because
Okay.
it gives you 4 different people with 8 different personalities.
I was gonna say SmackDown needed a jobber, so yeah.
Yeah. It's,
Oh shit!
damn, son.
Oh, I really like
You
it
gotta
too.
serve, man.
I
Sassy
just-
snaps up in here.
All right.
They're just not giving her a real chance.
All right, let's talk about tags.
Well,
Tags.
hold on. Let's.
Well, we have
In
the.
the full sense of equality, there needs to be a 4th woman on Raw.
Well, let's talk about
just pick
NXT.
one.
Right.
Let's talk about NXT
I thought
Women's
Ziggler
Division.
was already there.
What? No, one more
Alexa.
woman on Raw. Come on, Alexa.
What are we thinking?
Alexa Raw.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a fantastic heel. You're very heel heavy then. Alexa could do both, but I don't.
Yeah, but
ever
you got
wanna see her
Bayley.
go back
Bayley
and
could
forth.
take
Bayley
on all
can take
comers.
on everybody.
Yeah.
And Alexa works really well with Bayley.
I'm kind of leaning Alexa on Raw, and then Natty goes to SmackDown.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
She's kind of like I don't like her acting, and you
Okay.
need someone that you can have one-off matches with that you don't need to commit a full storyline
and to be honest, I'm tired of the Brett Ric Flair
because she has
thing.
no personality.
Yeah, I just
Alright,
want.
so we got those two up there. So we got
So Natty on SmackDown.
Alexa Raw, Natty SmackDown. I will propose Carmella Raw, Emma SmackDown.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
And I think
I like all of this, so I can't really argue.
I
Yeah,
think-
that was great. Hold on. What was the second one?
Emma.
Emma SmackDown.
Oh, yeah.
Carmella Raw, which I want to use to segue to tag stuff.
Oh shit! King
and
of
I'm gonna
Segway
say,
style.
actually, that I think Enzo and Cass might stay with Carmella just to and be like kind of a group in their own way. I don't know.
Yeah, I see
I
that.
could see that because
It
Carmella
works
may have a
better.
harder
I don't
time.
like her like it. I don't know.
Carmella has a lot of chemistry with Enzo and Cass.
Yeah.
They have to be on the same.
And
one.
it's kind of like an instant win. They've developed that. They know it works.
They bring her up and she's immediately liked by everybody.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because the thing you have to remember is that you can't assume that everybody who watches Raw also watches NXT.
Yep.
So bringing up Carmella into a group that's already white hot definitely helps put Enzo and Cass on Raw.
Unanimous.
Woo!
Okay. So now,
New Day.
the same thing that you can invoke. Oh yeah, all right. Let's do New Day, and then I'll talk about the Dudleys thing.
New
Day
Day
on
on
SmackDown.
SmackDown.
Yep. Yeah.
That was
All right.
easy.
So now I'll go back to the thing.
All right, now
so with
what are you gonna
Dudleys,
say?
Dudleys is the same kind of thing with Jericho, which is I will say it wouldn't surprise me if they also disappeared, but we will act as if they're sticking around.
Okay.
Right? Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, where do they go?
They go on SmackDown because they've been feuding with Enzo and Cass too much.
Agreed.
Yeah. I'm good with it.
Cool. What else we got on this list?
Let's jump to the end of the list just because they've been around a little bit. Vaudevillains. I think that.
That one's hard.
That one's hard.
All right. Well, all right. Let's leave them off and say the club. I think.
Let's talk about the club.
Oh, the club.
Well, the club's going with AJ.
That's true.
You have to go to SmackDown.
And they are feuding currently with the New Day.
That works. That totally works.
So, all right, Club on SmackDown.
Then I say if we get Club on SmackDown.
Vaudevillains on Raw?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, doing it.
All right. And then we're going to fight about the dumbest thing. We haven't had too many. Oh, they basically just, Brady and I curb stomping Ray occasionally.
Yeah, we knew that was going to happen.
Lucha Dragon.
I think Lucha Dragons are done, honestly. I think Kalisto's going to be his own guy for a long time, and since it's a matter of time before Sin Cara gets hurt, and he's gone.
Yeah,
Okay.
plus if the Cruiserweight thing happens, which I want to see Kalisto doing his own thing.
So are we going to treat them as separate? Should we treat them as separate?
I think they're basically already separate.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go all
Kalisto
in with
had
Brittany's.
a match at WrestleMania.
Let's go all in with Brittany's thing and just write Kalisto in our men's roster here, and just not even have Sin Cara in our thoughts. Okay.
Okay, Kalisto.
And the Ascension, one of them is still on drug suspension, so let's not worry about them.
Okay.
Well, no one really cares about the Ascension.
Yeah, let's just not even worry about the Ascension. So,
Really, it comes down to the Usos. Raw.
Yeah.
They're
They're going to be with Reigns.
Yep.
Okay.
The family, the bloodline.
Oh.
Okay, hold on. So
Ray has problems,
There's
people.
you
Okay,
write it
I
as
agree.
a reason,
All
right?
I agree with the Usos on Raw. I'm totally
Okay.
fine with that. But we need to take a step back. We need to get ourselves ready
Okay.
and look down at the NXT Tag Division.
All right, let's make this better now.
Okay,
Better for ourselves.
American Alpha. So there's a lot of more devastating heels on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
I think you put American Alpha on
SmackDown.
SmackDown.
And
You put Revival on Raw.
That works given everything currently, I think.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what do you do with the Hype Bros?
Whatever the hell we want.
With Zach's flirtation with being solo for a little bit, winning that title for a day, and seeing Mojo at Seattle being a heel and just being great. I don't care if they get split up. I don't care if they stay together. I think both kind of work.
Okay.
They're just safety picks. I don't know. I kind of
I say
want to
he-
leave them off for a little bit.
Okay, but I still say we vote on them because I think
Raw.
Okay, Raw.
Do you want to vote them as the Hype Bros?
We decided earlier we're not breaking up tag teams, and they are technically a
Yeah,
tag
but
team.
they're kind of in that same bit as
They are
Kalisto and
technically
Sin
a
Cara.
tag team. The
I-
Hype Bros are a tag team. Zack Ryder's an
I am
individual
voting
wrestler.
to keep
Lucha
them
Dragons, we just broke that rule
I
with the
don't
Lucha
care.
Dragons.
Shut the fuck up. It's different.
Okay, so
All right, fine. Hype Bros are all good.
okay, so you're saying Hype Bros on Raw?
Yeah, just move on. I'm not gonna win this one.
Kyle's just sad because I beat him.
Okay, so Hype Bros on Raw.
Let's go to more promising thing. Actually, all right. I want to go back a little bit to before we get into NXT Men because I think that'd be a cool thing to end on, or at least later on the show.
Yeah.
Let's deal with a little bit more of this mid card stuff. Get it out of the way. Eat your vegetables.
Okay.
And let's go
my
in.
vegetables.
We'll jump back to Sheamus. Let's start with Rusev.
Rusev Machka.
Machka.
Well, all right. So here's the thing: if he's still holding that U.S. title and we are committing to it on Raw, then he's gonna be on Raw.
He's going to be on Raw, which means Lana's on Raw as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rusev, Lana on Raw.
I'm fine with that.
Yep. And then,
Neville, when he comes back, I think SmackDown.
Let's see. We've got a heel-heavy SmackDown. I think it makes sense Neville's over there.
Yeah. Man, this one's really tough. All right, we'll do Sheamus, and then we can start speculating on Orton, because that's crazy.
I think you put Sheamus in SmackDown because he is easily hateable, and it's a really yeah.
There's a lot of heels that I like, and Sheamus is a heel that I hate.
Yeah.
I know that's not how wrestling's supposed to work, but if you had Sheamus against any of the other heels on that roster, I'd be rooting for the other heels. So if you're trying to get heels over in a non-feuding with face capacity, Sheamus is the guy to do it.
All right, I'm going to do some weird combinatorial logic here and say you're not going to have Sheamus and Orton together, and I think Orton makes more sense on Raw. And I see what you're saying with so you're saying Sheamus SmackDown?
I'm saying Sheamus SmackDown.
I'm gonna say Sheamus SmackDown, Orton Raw.
I agree with both of those sentiments. I think Orton on Raw.
Make it so.
Okay.
All right, number one. All right.
Number one, Miz.
Oh man, this is tough because I feel like this current new age of Miz is going pretty well.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you want to look at it like they're going to stick with that, it kind of makes it harder.
Yeah.
If you think of like how they traditionally treated Miz the last 2 years, like it's easy to just like kind of throw him on Raw with this one.
Yeah.
I'm leaning SmackDown.
I'm leaning Raw.
So, all right, look at the Money in the Bank match and the breakdown of who's in that match and who's on that roster. Like, the whole Money in the Bank match is on SmackDown right now.
Yeah.
Pretty much, except for Cesaro, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And Zayn. Cesaro, Zayn,
Del Rio, Jericho.
Del Rio, Jericho, and Owens.
Yeah,
And
Cesaro's-
Ambrose are on SmackDown.
Yeah, so we got to put Miz on Raw.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. I agree.
Damn it.
It had
Lost.
happened once. It was logic, though. You can't feel that upset. Now it gets... All right, so... Do you want to... Oh, God, the fucking Wyatt family is on here. That's hilarious.
I don't want to even talk about
Yeah, yeah.
it.
Let's,
All right, so
let's
let's
go to
cut that
NXT.
off and let's get to the juicy bits.
Oh my God, NXT. Oh, Jesus
Because the
Christ.
promotion potential here is crazy. This whole the end thing, like as we go through this and are so easily promoting these other groups and people, and we haven't even talked about the title scene there. It's like, wow, man, yeah, what are they gonna do with
Okay,
that show?
Nakamura on Raw.
Okay. Okay. Oh, fuck.
Shit.
I don't know. I don't want to make that decision just yet.
Oh,
Can
scared.
I'm scared of that.
You want
decision.
you want to do Joe or Balor? Which one?
I
first?
want to do Balor just because it's the more logical one.
All right.
That one's SmackDown.
Balor on Raw. SmackDown is Joe.
Other way around for me.
Why? Because of the club.
To the club. Because of the club.
Ah, that's fucking right.
They already so they've leaned into the club thing, and then they've got Balor Club.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
They either have two
That
feuding
either
clubs
means or they combine them.
that are separate, where Balor's the head of one and AJ's the head of another.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because
That
then,
change, you already voted. I will overrule you even though you agree now.
Balor's on Raw!
I don't know, but no, that's a really good point though, because
Yeah.
that's the whole point of like these cliques and clubs is that they're together even if they're separate.
Yeah.
Like Balor was
They're
always
covering all their turf.
Yeah, Balor was still part of Bullet
You can
Club
have
even though he was in WWE. Like
Balor
Alright.
was the guy that started Bullet Club.
yeah.
Balor, Raw,
Joe,
SmackDown.
Oh fuck. Balor definitely Raw.
Well, we just both said Joe SmackDown, so it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter what you
It doesn't
think.
matter what you think.
All right.
But what was going to be your case for Joe on Raw? Because it sounded like you were leaning that way. Just so we hear it out. Give you your pay your respects.
Here's
Press X to pay
exactly
respects.
why. And this maybe I can convince you
All right.
to switch your vote.
I like how you say look at me and say me and not.
He knows.
All right, let's
he
go.
knows.
So
What?
you have
I'm with you, buddy.
Reigns,
Mhm.
and you have the Usos,
Aww.
and you have
I
Joe.
do not back a bigger bloodline.
No, he's
Okay.
not part of the.
They're not. He's like the one.
He's the one
guy who
Samoan that's
isn't.
not a Noi family, and that works as a rivalry. Like you build them up together.
So he's fighting Reigns.
All four of them are part of the quote unquote new Samoan SWAT team.
Oh Jesus.
Samoa Joe.
Oh God.
Yeah.
No.
Nope. All right. Fine. Fine. Whatever. Stop on my dreams. Okay. Okay.
Nakamura on Raw.
Wow, you're pushing this.
I'm pushing this. I want Nakamura on Raw.
Can you
Why?
explain it just a little bit
Why?
more?
Like
Just a
who
little bit
he's
more.
gonna be
Nakamura
fighting?
versus Rollins.
Oh yeah. But Nakamura versus AJ.
Nakamura versus Zayn.
Nakamura versus Owens.
Nakamura versus Balor.
You're coming down to the whole part where Nakamura is really good, and you want to see him wrestle a bunch of cool wrestlers.
Give Nakamura the world title and have him on both rosters. Problem solved.
Yeah, that is not gonna happen for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm voting for Nakamura on SmackDown.
Raw. Kyle, what say you?
Kyle, choose between your parents.
Who's your
What
best
I
friend?
don't like,
Who's your best friend?
I don't like how cocky you are about this right now. Because I agree with you, but I don't like. You're making me not want to. But yeah, he's on Raw, in like a mix it up kind of capacity, and for some of those matches, I could see that.
I also think that there's
I think we have
way
too
too
much
many
of-
heels on SmackDown.
There's too much of what we like on SmackDown, so
I don't know.
it falls under like, all right, put him on Raw.
Put him on Raw.
Yes!
Oh.
Called it.
Yeah.
All
You're
right.
using too much of your powers here.
We're running out of time a little bit, so I want to find the ones that we really, really want to hit.
It's all on the NXT main roster.
I know.
So.
It's
Okay,
like,
what's left? What's left?
Aries, SmackDown.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. We need a good guy.
Yeah.
And he can play both.
Blake and Murphy separated. Interesting.
Well, that's kind of the storyline that they were going with before.
Yeah.
Alexa didn't need them. They were basically only tied together with Alexa.
I don't necessarily feel
Yeah, the
super
rest of
strongly
these,
the rest of them.
Yeah, the
They
rest
could
of
go
these,
anywhere, and I'd
yeah,
be happy, honestly.
yeah.
Like if like we're looking at people like Blake, Murphy, Samson, Gargano, Tomasa, Noe Jose,
These
Dillinger,
guys are
if
all-
any of those guys get moved up, I'm happy.
Yeah,
Like, I don't
these
care.
guys are all like the waiver wire picks.
I'm gonna give
after
you.
your
I'm gonna
seventh
give you
round
guys
draft,
the
you let it
final
go.
two.
Okay,
These are the
final
final two. First one is and I'm not doing the entire group. Just one, Bray. Because I feel like this is the moment where he loses all three of those guys.
Yeah.
He has to.
Yeah,
SmackDown.
Yeah, get him over there.
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Get him on
Okay.
SmackDown and eventually have him do a regurgitated storyline against Cena or somebody.
Yeah.
Give
Yeah.
him some time, maybe even Del Rio, something.
We got
Yeah.
Ambrose,
Yep.
AJ,
And the final one, no way.
Noe Jose.
No way, Jose. The final one.
I think he could work on Raw.
I think he could work on SmackDown. You've got a heel heavy SmackDown, and he's just like the kind of guy that lights up the room.
I'm gonna go. I don't know. She does have a point, and
Of course I do.
Of
course.
But it's that attitude
My
that makes
goodness.
me not want to agree with her. So,
Of course.
Oh.
but
course you do.
But of course I'm gonna.
Yes!
I don't know. Well, can somebody convince me otherwise?
I mean, I just think he can go either. Like I said, we're into the waiver wire here. This is a solid part of the waiver wire.
Yes.
Like the draft ends and he immediately dumped the guy he had in the 7th round and he picked up one of these guys,
Yeah.
and that's what these all are. And so it's kind of like,
All right, so we're wrapping up. I want to review kind of what we have because we're
Sure.
looking at it just so our listeners can see. So for Raw, we have Steph running Raw.
Mm-hmm.
The World Heavyweight Championship crosses both rosters, but
Mm-hmm.
dedicated to Raw, we've got the U.S., and we've got a Raw tag team.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Rollins, Reigns, Apollo, Corbin, Cesaro, Ziggler, Zayn, Charlotte, Bayley, Dana, Alexa, Carmella, Enzo and Cass, Vaudevillains, Usos, Revival, Hype Bros, Rusev, Lana, Orton, Miz, Balor, and Nakamura. That's right. And then for
Yep.
SmackDown, we're having Shane run SmackDown with the Intercontinental title and a SmackDown tag title with Cena, Ambrose, AJ, Del Rio, Jericho, Owens, Sasha, Asuka, Paige, Becky, Natty, Emma, New Day, Dudley's The Club, American Alpha, Neville, Sheamus, Joe, Aries, and Bray Wyatt.
and women's also cross.
Yes,
both.
women's also crosses both.
Cool. I would watch both of these shows.
Damn it.
Well, we kind of have to.
How am I going? I don't have enough time for all this wrestling in my life.
Do we alternate weeks? Is it like some divorced parent situation? Like, all right, every other week I got Raw and you
Hey,
get SmackDown.
hey, it does give us more podcast material.
It does. It
All
does.
right.
It's a lot of stuff. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, let's get to the goodness here. That's gonna wrap us up for this week. If you like the podcast, you can find us at Twitter at OnTheHeelsWP and on Facebook.com/OnTheHeelsWP. We are also on iTunes, where you can download past episodes or subscribe to future episodes.
So hit that subscribe button. Hit it. Leave a comment on the iTunes store. Give us a 5-star rating so that more people like you can find us. And
Like
tell your friends, tell your wrestling buddies. Message us on Facebook. Tweet us anything if you want us to cover a specific topic or a specific organization. We're totally down for everything.
We love talking about wrestling.
We love wrestling.
You probably know this if you're listening to our podcast.
Yeah.
So thank you for listening to On the Heels Wrestling Podcast. Tune in to our next episode where we'll recap Raw and maybe NXT. And then, after all those questions, we'll ask ourselves the eternal question, will the brand split be worth it?
I think so. I think we've needed something like this for a while to really shake things up.
I'm really interested to see how the Money in the Bank thing shakes out. If it isn't cashed in that night, like if we don't get Shield rematch that night, then
Then the rules get weird.
yeah, the rules.
And the brand
get
split
weird.
isn't happening until mid-July.
Yep.
Well, that's the other thing. We don't know if they haven't done new network exclusives
There
yet.
are so many unknowns, and it's amazing.
Yeah, do more network exclusives show up with the brand split?
Oh,
By this
my
time
God.
last year, we already had 2 of them. We had
You
Elimination
had-
Oh my
Chamber and
God.
King of the Ring. We
What
haven't
if you
even
had
that.
pay-per-view specific brand split?
Oh no, that would be that'd be good, but it'd be crazy.
It'd be crazy.
It's too much to cover.
Wrestling's awesome.
Wrestling's awesome.
On the heels, wrestling podcast.